Hi, everybody. Welcome to Plant-Powered Business Strategies to Grow Your Positive Impact. My name is Johanna, and I'm here with my friend Brianna.
Hey everyone.
Today we have a special episode for you. We're going back to copy critiques, and we're going to critique one vegan business's website. And the brand is called This Is Not a Game. It was founded by Rory Cockshaw and his then girlfriend, who is now his fiance, Izzy Acosta, in August of 2023. They're based in Britain and they're the world's first vegan tabletop gaming brand. So thanks so much, Rory and Izzy, for submitting your website for us to critique. So we're going to go through as much as we can in the time that we have and try to give you some actionable feedback, and hopefully for everybody else a chance to learn how to create a great website for your business. Of course, this is an e-commerce company, and like websites are always a bit different depending on what kind of a brand you have. But for sure, there's something to learn from for everybody. And what makes this brand like really special, at least in my opinion, is that it's very personality based and it's a young company. So I love to see an e-commerce company that is so like personality driven and uses a lot of storytelling. So yeah, with that, I think we can get started right away.
And if you're listening to this on either Apple or Spotify, be sure to check out the YouTube version too, because we'll be sharing our screens and walking you through each section as we do the commentary. If you're just listening, you'll still get tips and everything, but if you want to see the sections that we're referencing as we go through it, definitely recommend checking out the YouTube version.
Okay, so I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Here we are. This
Awesome.
is not a game. So, what are your first impressions, Brie?
First things first, I thought the header was really strong. No matter what niche you're in, what type of business you have, having a strong header, showing your product service, bringing the person in right up front. And if you scroll down a little bit, Johanna, you'll
Yep.
see that he's got the shop now button. So a
Yeah.
CTA right at the top too. So starting at the top, I thought this was really strong because it's the world's first vegan tabletop game company. Um, you have your product right there. You have shop now. The only thing here that stood out to me that might make it stronger is if, let's say, Plants Against Veganity is their signature game, might want to just say that. Might want to just push the one game and make the focus the one game. If instead you want to be a games company and have lots of options, I think this is fine. I might show a couple of the other different games up here in the header then, just so it's clear that you have a bunch of different options, which you do as we go down the page, you'll see them. But just having the one here had a tension for me between, is this a flagship product and that's what we're focusing on, or is it a games company and I have many to choose from? So right off the bat, just a little bit of confusion that could be cleaned up, but overall, coming at this from a standpoint of, does it grab attention? Do I give people a way to take action? Those sorts of questions that marketers always ask. Yes, and so I think it's great, but it could be tightened up just a little bit. What do you think, Johanna?
Yeah, I agree with everything you say. And like I love that they're conveying their like USB. It's the world's first vegan tabletop games company. It becomes very clear right away. Like also this kind of like novelty hook. This is something new, never been seen before. So, as in the future there might be, competitors, then it might be time to change this. But for now, I like it a lot. And I wanted to mention about the CTA. It's great that it's here, but I might make it a bit like bigger, like on a different in a different color, or somehow that it pops out just like a small just a small feedback because now it can feel like it gets a little bit lost in there. But yeah, I think all in all, a great first impression, and which is important when you land on somebody's. homepage.
Agreed. And I think too, I want to hit on what you said about it being novel, it being new, because I think that's really important to note right off the top, is this is a relatively new company. Um, so for example, people might not know Plans Against Plans Against Veganity is a play on Cards Against Humanity. I almost mixed the two there.
Yeah,
Um, and so if they haven't played Cards Against Humanity, they might just see a box and be like, okay, but what's in the box? Like what am I doing? So you might want to change the photo there if you are going to feature this game. Shows the cards out, shows people playing, so people can picture themselves playing the game. And we'll get into some ideas on how to better convey what the game actually is as we go through the page. But right off the bat, if your audience is as unaware as Rory's is, because this is a brand new product, you want to be able to show what it is and how they
yeah,
use it and really bring them in. And so there's not a lot of confusion, not a lot of guessing. You don't want the customer to have to fill in the gaps. You want to fill in the gaps for them.
yeah. That's such a good point. Thanks for adding that. Okay, then moving on. So there's the 20% off for January, which is now over. But yeah, just tell me when you want me to
Sure.
stop, Brie.
Yeah, I think and we can scroll a little bit.
Yeah,
Here we're getting into what your customers
yeah.
think, your a credibility banner. If you want to just scroll, Johanna, we
Hmm.
can show a lot of the page and then talk about how we might reorganize it. So we have some pictures of him out selling it. You can keep going. Um, I love this tagline, by the way, Roy, making veganism fun at parties since 2024. I would honestly move that up. I saw the
Yeah,
tagline in the box and I was like, I want this to be a section header because that really draws people in and makes them want to keep reading. So I might move this making veganism fun and how does it work up to the top so those unaware people, which is the majority of your audience right now, since you're still pretty new, immediately get into the how and what and can start picturing themselves as your ideal customer.
yeah.
Uh, what do you think, Johanna?
Yeah, I totally agree. And on that, so we're going to go to the about page after, but so to Rory and everybody listening to and watching this, there's you talk to the kind of pain point that us vegans often like experience that people see as like like no fun, like grumpy, irritated, just like complaining about things. So I would, in a way, like to see that being like used on the homepage as well, because this making veganism fun at parties, that's kind of like the benefit, the main benefit that you're offering. So before offering that, it's also very useful to address the pain point that people have, because I was thinking about it as I was going through the homepage. So yeah, I hope that makes sense at this
Yeah,
point.
absolutely. I want to scroll a little bit
Yeah.
and show people the rest of
So
the page.
how
So we
does
have
it
how does it work?
work? And then a blog section
Yep.
and sign up on the email list.
Awesome.
My main feedback on the homepage, like all in all, I think this is such a like a solid homepage. Like there's
Really.
some reordering to do, but there's storytelling. It like fits the brand. There's like a fun vibe, like quality photos, like the copies. It's like fun to read. But I got a bit confused here. Like actually, like how do you play it? And and while there is this step one, step two, step three, and until step six, so I was a bit like, and I love to read copy, but I was a bit like, like so many steps, like I want to like just like show me, maybe you can
Mhm.
show me how to play it, how it works. So that was my main feedback, and it is quite an important point since it is a game that you play, like how to use it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for anyone that's listening that doesn't have a game company too, I think it's still an important point that you bring up, Johanna, because people, your consumers, your target audience, they're going to consume content in different ways. And so providing those opportunities when you can. One idea we had here was perhaps replacing the static image in the center with a clickable video. You could just host it in YouTube or wherever would
Mm.
work best with your website, so that it shows up organically or it opens a new tab. It has how to, whatever functionality works for you and your web designer. The point here being, though, that you offer the reading option for the steps for those that learn better by working through and reading
Yeah.
things, but then you also offer a visual. Rory, even if it's you talking to the camera and saying these steps, that would be great because some people learn auditory and they need to hear it said to them. Going even further, if you film you and your fiance playing the game and
Yeah.
like do little cutouts to camera and say, and this is step two, like you could talk directly like they're part of it. Um, just another idea to make it more engaging here on how does it work? Because it's fun, it's engaging. You want to convey that, and I think you do with your copy, but even more so if they see you and your fiance or you and your friends having fun playing the game, they'd be, "Oh, I want that experience at my next dinner party or my next outing with my friends."
Yeah.
And as that level of like FOMO almost, like fear of missing out, but
Yeah.
then also get to learn the game. Um, so it's important too to think about more broadly, no matter your niche, no matter your product, people want to get to know you because people buy from people. So this gives an opportunity for Rory to introduce himself, see, so people can trust him and see that he's a cool guy with a cool game, right? But then also it gives an opportunity for you to hit people where they learn best. So you don't lose people that don't sit here and read tons of copy because not everyone does. And as a copywriter, it pains me to say that, but not everyone does.
Yeah.
So giving different ways for them to consume content, you'll hook in more people.
Yeah, I love that so much. Like great advice. And yeah, like show me the transformation, like the vegans that are fun at the party. It's
Yes,
like
yes, show us the fun vegans. Absolutely. And
cool.
this higher up too would help, flow through. So let's say you did focus on this product, Rory, and that was your main CTA, like buy Plants Against Veganity. How does it work? Then I would be more inclined to scroll down and see your other products, even if you're engaging right at the top there. Just an
Yeah.
idea to test. Everything is testing and marketing.
Yeah.
So you could
Yeah.
always test the reorganization, test a video, see where people are clicking, see how long they're staying on your homepage, where the fall off is, those sorts of things, and go from there.
I just want to quickly mention that I love
Yeah.
this kind of like visual bio section here. I think you kind of like touched on it, but to show the personality behind the brand with like fun photos.
I might do a
And
little header there,
yeah, true. Good point.
like behind the scenes with, it's not a game, or behind the scenes with Rory, even. Like, let us see your life, what it's like a day in the life as a founder of this cool company. Just something that makes this stand out as an about or as a behind the scenes.
And it's great that there's testimonials. I mean,
If
if
you can, though, I would name the person because on your
yeah,
product page, and we'll show that in a second, you do have real reviews from real
yeah,
people. And a happy customer, fine, but it builds more trust to say Brianna or Johanna, even if it's just the first names.
yeah, yeah, that is such a good point.
So I think it's great that you did a sale. And of course, give that real estate on your homepage. One idea here, just if you do reorganize and you do feature the game over the book, I would consider talking to your developer of making this a pop-up. So if you're running a sale or different things, you can do a little pop-up that pops out so it doesn't mess with the flow every time you have a sale and you reorganize everything. You can just do pop-ups for different promotions and things that take them to that product page instead. Just an idea there if you do go with the reorganization that Johanna and I went over.
I wanted to mention about the email sign up. So it's great that you're collecting names for a list. And I did sign up for for your list. And at the end of our like critique, if we have time, I'll go over the welcome email a little bit. But yeah, this could be. Oh, there it is. So I wanted to mention just like one tip, like in e-commerce, because there, brands often offer like a discount or something, like some sort of reason for the person to get on the list. And I totally get it. Like maybe it's like a conscious decision not to offer something in exchange for getting somebody's email address, but just in case not, like that's something to consider, because you do want people, like as many people on your list as possible, because that's the easiest way to sell actually. But yeah, but great that
Good
you have
point.
it here.
Yeah, yeah, great point. And if you need a way to justify it, it could just be a welcome discount. Like join the
Yeah,
list, get your welcome code for 10% off, whatever it might be. But
yeah,
a reason why is always really important when you're giving a discount. So coming up with, even if it's just welcome to the family, like a lot of brands will do a welcome bonus discount or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Should we move on?
Yeah, you want to go over to the about page? You
The
want to take
team
us out
behind the
there?
brand, meet the
Yeah.
makers, Rory and Issy. So here we have some photos. Rory and Issy in Paris. This was the month we had the idea for silly vegan card games like Plants Against Veganity. Look how young and innocent we look. I love I love this, the kind of real talk, like talking to a friend.
So right off the bat, I wouldn't say that this picture of you doing stand-up has anything to do with your brand, right? It just looks like a moment from your life that I'm scrolling your Instagram. But I think it's really cool that you put it here and then you gave it some context that does relate back to the brand. Super, super smart because it adds personality. It makes you feel like we're friends and you're sharing bits of your life. But then you say this training in the art of being funny was invaluable in the creation of Plants Against Veganity. Awesome connection to your brand, Rory.
Yeah,
So
well
little
done.
glimpses, and in the next one, you're selling the product, but I love the behind the scenes mixed with more product focused images. So really cool idea for anyone that wants to spice up their about page.
Mm. And people care. Like I cannot highlight it enough. Like people care about your life, like the why, even the life that's not directly related to your brand. So this is
Yeah.
it's yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah, sharing your engagement even. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love a good about page and the like the behind the story or behind the scenes or the why of the brand. And I think you do such a good job here. Um, I wanted to. So you have this. You're sharing that you have a background in animal rights activism, which like I absolutely love. And you're talking about how you've been, talking to people like tabling, like doing like street activism and like spending hundreds of hours talking to people in the street about difficult topics like animal rights and climate change. So I'm just going to keep reading for a bit. And both Rory and Issy knew that these conversations were never easy. Also, very much my own experience. People are defensive when they get approached on the street, and which is understandable. It's hard to get an important message across to a random stranger you've only just met moments before. So instead, Rory and Izzy decided to try something new. They decided to create a series of funny, engaging, and genuinely enjoyable card games and board games with solid vegan messages behind them. Um, Designed for vegans and non-vegans alike. The motto behind the enterprise is laugh first, think second. And if you, like, I absolutely love this part. If we want to plan an idea, we need to make it fun. And again, like this part that I already mentioned before, if we can get rid of that age-old stereotype of vegans being grumpy, irritable, and offended, and replace it with a vision of vegans as funny, open, and just so very human, we will make veganism drastically more accessible. And I couldn't agree more. And I love this. Like I love this so much. And as I mentioned, I would bring it to the homepage in some format as well, because I do think that's the kind of pain point we have. So yeah, I really like this about page. It like goes into depth, but not like too overwhelming. Yeah.
Absolutely. I totally echo everything you said about the story. Well done. I know you said you were like a self-trained copywriter. I think you're doing great. Your writing's great throughout the website. One thing on here that stood out to me to uh, make those psychological triggers as people are reading this just a little bit clearer is the use of bold, italics, underlined can be a lot. I might stick to just italics and bolding, and I wouldn't put them together necessarily. Um, so, for example, in that, if we can get rid of the age-old stereotype section, I might I bold, grumpy, irritable, and offended. And then keep the ones that you have italicized, maybe italicize drastically instead of bold, or bold the whole drastically more accessible, to play around with what you're emphasizing and to keep it a little simpler for the reader. But I thought you did a great job with like these larger ideas. So I love the end because they deserve it, because you deserve it, and it got bigger. Right.
Mm.
So you're playing with those psychological triggers already, like making it easy to read, thinking of what people are focusing on as they skim, because again, not everyone reads every word, unfortunately, but you are bolding a lot of the important parts here. And so I wanted to point that out for people as they're thinking about how do I share my story? How do I make my mission stand out to people? Think of those like one sentence or phrases that you want to bold, that you really want to emphasize. So even if someone just like scrolls for 3 seconds on your about page, they're like, oh, they're activists, and they come away with that. What do you want people to come away with from your story? I think you're on the right track here. Just might play around with some of the emphasis that you're using here because it can be overwhelming for some people, and we want to make sure that we're really hitting those things that are very important to your story. The other thing that stood out to me here, Johanna, if you scroll, we can show that there's no CTA other than sign up for
Mm.
the newsletter.
Yeah.
So I might end the about page with the game again, since that was the first idea. Your story's about creating that fun environment to bring people in. So the um, your signature game that's at play on Cards Against Humanity that people know and that is more of a common game. If you show it here, if you show people playing even here with a CTA to shop now, or if you show a couple of your games, maybe it's a like a slider, the automatic sliders that you'll see on websites where it features one and then it slides over automatically to another. You could put a slider here with your different games and options. The point being is you're telling us about why and how you founded this company, and then there's not an immediate way to take action to support
Mm.
this company. So you've built up that trust. We're like, oh yeah, I totally get it, Rory. Like I'm that person too. And then we're dropped. So I would just really suggest that you put something in here so that people can buy as soon as they finish reading your story.
Yeah, that I'm so glad you mentioned that. It was my feedback as well. Like, yeah, always remember that. Tell people what you want them to do. Make it super clear. Um, and yeah, it's an important one. One small edit that I might do here, or something I wanted to bring up for I noticed that for me, this like centering the text, it makes it a bit difficult for me to read, especially like on a larger screen. So I mean, has not so much to do with the copy, but more like maybe accessibility. But I wanted to mention it that I might like align it to the left as we're used to like reading. I don't know if you paid attention to this at all, Brie, but yeah, I
Yeah,
wanted to mention it.
I did, and I pulled your website up on mobile too, because it felt like a lot of the format choices were optimized for mobile. I'm
Mm.
imagining that because it's e-com, like you're
Yeah.
running ads somewhere and people are on their phones, and so you're optimizing for mobile. A lot of builders will let you make different choices between the mobile version of your site and the desktop version of your site. If you're not familiar with that, something to talk to a developer about, but it should be a pretty easy just toggle on, toggle off situation where you could maybe take away the black box for the desktop site, make it more full screen, maybe add a few photos in here, maybe a video of people playing, of you as you developed. Did you have prototype cards? Do you have pictures of those? Could we see some of the behind the scenes there? And you could make it a little bit more engaging for desktop. And then if you want to keep it narrow for mobile and still add in those photos and different aspects that I just mentioned, you can. But just things to keep in mind. People are still viewing on desktop, even if you're optimizing for mobile. So you do want to be checking in both places, and most builders will have the ability for you to view it in desktop, iPad, or tablet and smartphone screen sizes as you build, so you can make sure that it's optimized for each of those. It is important for the user experience that
Mm.
you're paying attention to how it shows up in each space.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
So there's Shop It. Let's go there.
Cool.
So Plants Against Veganity, the box set. All the decks you could ever want. So here we have Plants Against Veganity. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I
Veganity?
really hope
Yeah.
it is. Sorry if
Yeah.
we're pronouncing it wrong, Rory. That might be a fun thing.
Oops.
Maybe here on the product page, you have like the phonetic um s- uh, how to
Yeah,
say
yeah, how
it,
you
right?
pronounce
Like,
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think that, you have that playful added
Yeah.
tone already. I think like spelling it out for us, and yeah, we know it's hard to say. It's, like call it out. I think you have that playful energy already.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so here we have the different
Different expansion
games.
packs and things for the
Yeah.
Cards Against Humanity. Okay, and then scrolling down, what do we have?
Products
Okay.
and FAQ.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I missed that on my first scan because your FAQ page, Rory, in the footer does link to your about page. So I missed the FAQ. Want to make sure that those link to the right places. Um, And then, yeah, I love that you have FAQ on your actual like sales
Yeah.
page, quote unquote, where your products are, because that's where people are going to have the most questions as they go through it. So I think it's really important to have one, no matter where you are or what niche you're in. Definitely trying to answer those free questions before people check out or reach out to you. What was your main feedback here, Johanna?
So my main feedback was the like lack of information. So I want to know everything about the product I'm buying. So let's say I want to buy the kind of flagship product or the best seller. So my main feedback is that I would love to know much more about the product. I mean, there's a little bit of an intro, and I mean, what I love is that here we have all these like testimonials, and I mean, it's very clear from here that people love it. But like, I'm one of the, there are different kinds of buyer types. Some people are like much more faster in their decisions, and also depends how well they know your brand already or the product. But if I'm a newbie, like I want to know all the details, like how many cards, like everything, what's included, and I would remind people of the reason to buy or the kind of like pain point and the benefits again at this point. Like I love that you mentioned that it's an ideal Christmas present or things like that. But yeah, I would love to know much more. Like I would say don't assume that anybody knows like much about your product at all. And you can of course make it so that, maybe you can click and, read more information so that those who want to know more can can access it. Like you don't need to overwhelm everybody. What do you think, Bree?
I totally agree. Yeah, so if you click on that one that has the play button there that you were just hovering over, so this does show like you actually holding the cards. People get a sense of how big the cards are because they can see your hands there. So it gives a little bit more insight, but as we mentioned on the home page, like we're not really sure how to play it. The steps are a little confusing, but you can also reiterate the steps here. Like you don't
Mm,
really go into how to play the game here, right? You really rely on the home page. Um, to be the only place that describes how to do it. So if you do end up doing the video intro on how to play the game, that could go here. If you revamp your instructions on how to play the game, that could go here. Um, just some more about what we're doing when we buy, I think would be really important to reiterate here. Another really important thing for anyone that's putting together a website that sells something is you're going to be pointing people to different places on your website depending on your marketing. So you want to make sure it might feel like you're repeating yourself because you're the one writing it, you're the one designing it,
mm,
you're the one putting it out there in the world, but repetition, repetition, repetition helps your audience because they don't have to click back to your homepage and be like, wait, how do I play? You've got it here. They know how to play from this page where they're on the product page, where the button is, where they can add to cart, where they can check out immediately. So making it easier, having all the information, you can say it in new ways. It doesn't have to be copy and paste, so it's not like super repetition, but that you might be directing people directly to this product page and that person would have no idea how to play because they didn't come from your homepage.
mm.
So thinking about the different customer journeys and making sure that that critical information still makes it to your product pages or your service pages, depending on your business, really, really critical. One great tip on how to make sure that you're hitting those pieces is show this to a friend that has no idea, hasn't played your business before. Maybe it's a coworker, maybe it's your parent, right? But have them look at the product page and be like, would you buy this? And if they say, what is it? Okay, I need to add more copy. Okay, I need to, rejigger things. But get that feedback from someone that's not staring at your website 24/7 because as entrepreneurs, that's all we're doing is thinking about our business. So sometimes we can be really biased.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I think it's a good kind of good way to remember it. Or like if you start to feel like you're getting bored of your message or repeating the same thing again and again, then you're like starting to get to the point where it's maybe you've communicated it enough. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Johanna, I see our time is running short. Do you want to click over to the welcome email or was there
Yeah.
anything you wanted to say here?
I wanted to cover the FAQ just like very
Okay,
briefly,
let's
which
do it. Yeah,
back to
I
the
think it's back on the
shop
other page.
page. So you mentioned already that yeah, it's great that it's here, and I want to reiterate. I want to say that as well. Like I love a good FAQ. Uh, like section, and like a good way to think about this is even if people haven't asked you questions, you can think about like possible objections. Like you can even like Google them or ask AI, and then craft like questions and answers based on that. And one thing specifically, I don't think it's covered here. I was thinking about like how British is this? Is this suitable for international audiences, like non-native English speakers? So that might be my FAQ to address in your FAQ section or messaging in general. So that's what I
I
wanted
think
to.
that's a great call out. And Rory, I think Johanna just said that she's going to be your customer if you can answer that question.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for pointing that out, Johanna. Let's
Okay.
get the
So
welcome email.
yeah, I'm just trying to find my way there. What?
I think you have it at the tab at the top.
Ah, yeah. Cool. Okay. So I signed up and right away I got this email. It landed in my promotions folder. So just to let you know. Um, so right away there's a picture of you and like I'm not gonna go like read through all of this, but I love that you like you keep the same tone of voice, like the fun, like quirky, like personality driven storytelling. And yeah, there's another photo and another one. Like it's quite long. I like long emails myself. The only kind of like feedback I wanted to mention here is that you have quite a few links, like linking to like different products and pages. So like I haven't gotten another email from you yet, so I don't know if you actually have a welcome email sequence, but in case not, you might want to like kind of sprinkle these throughout a few emails so that you don't like overwhelm your reader with like all of everything that you have right in the first email. But I love that you have like a welcome message, and to everybody listening, like it's so important, like when somebody signs up for your email list, they're actually telling you that they want to hear from you. So send them an email, and also don't assume that they will remember you after a week, or not to mention a month or like 2 weeks, or even necessarily after a couple of days of signing up. Like we're also busy and like our inboxes are full. So I really love it that it came right away. And yeah, I mean, the CTA could be more specific, like maybe you want to like send people to one specific product that you talk about in the email, but like visit our website. That's also like you have a CTA, so it's good, but could be more specific. But yeah, love the storytelling and personality here. So, and okay, one final thing. You might want people to answer you, like ask a question or just like ask them to send an email back to you because it will improve your delivery rates. And yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wanted to mention.
absolutely. And one thing that we mentioned earlier when we were going over the website was to have people sign up for the newsletter to or your email list in general would be to offer them a discount. So if you wanted to have some of this story in there, Rory, you could, as Johanna said, break it up, trickle it through a sequence, but have that first email, the only CTA is here's your discount, and put it right at the top. Thanks for signing up. Here's your discount. Story, story, story. Here's your discount code as a reminder. And then trickle a couple days later. Here's another email. We're working on Climateopoly is your third email in the sequence,
Yeah,
right? So like what's coming up type of idea. So typically welcome sequences for people that aren't familiar or are building one would be about 3 emails, depending on the brand, depending on what you're selling. So, Rory, if you did want to offer that discount code, your first email, that would be the CTA there. Second email could be the flagship product. Third email could be what's coming up in the future
yeah.
type of breakdown. Because that way you're giving some people a little bit of everything in your brand before you dump them into your main email list and they're getting everything from you.
All right, we're at
Overall,
the
great. This was
yeah.
really exciting. Thank you so much for submitting.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It was so much fun to go through, and hopefully this was helpful to you and anybody who's listening. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. Would be happy to answer any questions.
Absolutely. And we'll be doing these throughout the year. So if you were too shy to submit, you wanted to see what it was all about, please keep an eye on our socials. We'll be posting about the next time what we want to do this. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.